Las Vegas is supposed to feel wild, unpredictable, and full of possibility, but if you've visited recently, something feels different. The Strip looks shinier than ever, yet it feels colder, more controlled, more expensive, and strangely empty. The reason isn't tourism, it isn't inflation, it isn't competition from other cities. It's something far more uncomfortable. One company quietly took over Las Vegas, and now the entire city is paying the price. That company is MGM Resorts. MGM doesn't just own a few casinos, it owns the flow of Las Vegas. If you walk the Strip from Mandalay Bay all the way to the Cosmopolitan, you are passing through a wall of MGM property. Mandalay Bay, Luxor, Excalibur, MGM Grand, New York, Park MGM, Aria, Vitara, Bellagio, the Cosmopolitan, and through joint ventures, they influence even more. No other company in the history of Vegas has ever controlled this much physical, financial, and psychological space in one place. On paper, that looks like success. In reality, it created something far more dangerous, a monopoly disguised as competition. In old Las Vegas, casinos fought for your business. One would offer free rooms, another would offer cheap buffets, another would give you show tickets, drink vouchers, parking, or comps just to get you in the door. The goal was to make you feel like Vegas was a deal. Even if you lost money gambling, you felt like you won somewhere else. The magic wasn't the jackpot, it was the value. That entire model died the moment MGM realized it didn't have to compete with itself. When MGM owns both sides of the street, what incentive is there to lower prices? If Bellagio raises its resort fees, Aria can raise theirs too. If MGM Grand charges for parking, so can New York. If Mandalay Bay cuts housekeeping, Luxor can follow. Guests can walk from one MGM property to another, but MGM still keeps the money. There is no real escape. That's when Vegas stopped being fun and started becoming a toll road. Everything that used to be free is now monetized. Parking, Wi-Fi, room upgrades, pool access, early check-in, late checkout, even basic housekeeping. MGM didn't just raise prices, it created 100 new ways to charge people without them noticing. And when people do notice, it's already too late. The credit card has already been swiped. MGM calls this yield optimization. Guests call it being robbed. What makes it worse is that MGM knows most visitors don't understand who owns what. Tourists think they're choosing between different casinos, when in reality they're choosing between different branches of the same corporation. That illusion allows MGM to raise prices across the Strip without triggering mass boycotts, because people believe they still have options. They don't. Even competitors feel the gravity of MGM's pricing. When MGM raises room rates, Caesars follows. When MGM hikes resort fees, everyone else adjusts upward. The Strip's pricing floor is now set by one company's spreadsheet. This isn't capitalism anymore, it's corporate gravity. The loyalty program makes it even worse. MGM Rewards ties gamblers, hotel guests, and even restaurant spending into one centralized system. Once you're in, you're tracked, scored, and profiled. Your play, your spending, your habits, all of it is used to decide what you deserve. Not what makes you happy, what maximizes MGM's profit. That's why comps have vanished, why drink service is slower, why rooms cost more but feel cheaper, why mid-tier gamblers get nothing. MGM has turned Vegas into a data-driven extraction machine, and the Strip feels it. Casinos that used to buzz with excitement now feel quiet even when they're full. Restaurants feel rushed, bars feel understaffed, housekeeping is slower, service is thinner, everything feels stretched, because MGM realized it can reduce costs while raising prices, and most guests will still come, at least for now. But this strategy has a hidden flaw. It destroys emotional loyalty. Vegas was built on repeat visitors, on loyalty, on people who came back year after year because it felt like home. MGM broke that relationship. People now leave Vegas feeling exhausted instead of energized. They don't talk about the shows or the memories, they talk about how expensive everything was. That's poison for a city that depends on emotional attachment, The data already shows it. Mid-tier gamblers are disappearing. Convention guests stay fewer nights. Tourists spend less per visit. Locals avoid the Strip entirely. Vegas is becoming a destination for either the ultra-rich or the ultra-frustrated. There is no middle anymore. And MGM caused that. They didn't mean to. But when you remove competition, the customer always loses. MGM built a Strip that is efficient, clean, and profitable, but not lovable. And Vegas without love is just a shopping mall with slot machines. Even worse, MGM created a fragile system. When prices rise too far, people don't just spend less, they stop coming. That's already happening. Occupancy is slipping. Gaming revenue is flattening. International tourism is strong, but domestic repeat visits are dropping. And here's the brutal truth. MGM doesn't know how to fix it. They train their entire empire to extract value, not create it. They optimize the soul out of the city. Now they're stuck with a Strip that looks incredible but feels hollow. They can't lower prices without angering investors. They can't improve service without raising costs. They can't restore perks without reducing margins. The entire system is locked into a financial feedback loop where greed keeps winning even as the experience loses. That's why MGM keeps doubling down on high-end customers and international tourists. Those guests are less sensitive to pricing and more likely to spend big in a short window. But they don't replace the millions of middle-class Americans who used to come back 5, 10, 20 times over their lives. MGM is burning long-term loyalty to boost short-term revenue. That's not growth. That's liquidation. And here's the irony. MGM built the greatest casino empire in history by understanding people. Now it risks losing it by treating people like data points. Vegas isn't dying, but MGM's version of Vegas is. Because when one company owns everything, it also owns all the blame. And as tourists quietly decide that Las Vegas isn't worth the price anymore, that blame is starting to land right where it belongs. And this is where MGM's quiet control becomes truly dangerous, not just for tourists, but for the entire Las Vegas economy. When one corporation controls this much of the Strip, it also controls the employment, the suppliers, the entertainment pipeline, the marketing budgets, and even the political influence behind the scenes. Thousands of dealers, bartenders, hotel workers, and performers depend on MGM for their livelihoods. When MGM cuts costs, the ripple spreads across the entire city. Fewer shifts mean fewer tips. Fewer guests mean less spending. And when middle-class tourists disappear, the people who suffer first are not executives, they're the workers who built this city. Local businesses feel it too. MGM's scale allows it to dominate vendors, food suppliers, cleaning services, and entertainment contracts. Smaller operators get squeezed out. Independent restaurants and shows struggle because MGM can bundle deals and push foot traffic toward its own properties. This creates a closed ecosystem where MGM feeds itself and Vegas slowly loses the diversity that once made it feel alive. The Strip starts to look like one giant branded campus instead of a collection of wildly different experiences. MGM didn't destroy Vegas. It just made it too expensive to love.